One million people die from suicide every single year. That's one person every 40 seconds. Yet the smallest things can make the biggest difference. Not that long ago, I read a story. It was about a little boy called Bill, who was bullied by all the other kids in his class. And one day, as he was walking home from school, the bullies pushed him over and sent all his things flying across the ground. And while the other kids laughed and pointed and made fun of him, there was one boy who didn't. Instead, he knelt down next to him and helped him pick up his things. Then he walked him home, and they started talking, and they became friends. But it was only years later, Bill admitted he had planned to kill himself that day. And it was one random boy's act of kindness that stopped him. Now, I've got to admit, this story wasn't very well written. My English teacher would say it needed more adjectives and better punctuation and more creative sentence starters. But that's not what this is about. It wasn't written to become a best-selling novel or earn the author billions of pounds. It was written to spread a message. A message that a tiny connection between two people could save someone's life. The message that something as simple as helping someone pick their books up, or smiling at someone, or telling them their hair looks nice that day, could mean far more than you know. Every single one of us in this room have been mean to someone at least once in our lives. And it's a lie if you say you haven't. I have, you have, so have you. But we're human and we make mistakes, and that's okay. But what's not okay is sitting back and watching someone suffer when you know you could be helping. Human connection is what changes people's lives. And we have the ability to create that change. So why don't we do it? Well, a few weeks ago at school, I saw a girl run past me crying. But I was so scared about a science test I had next period that I didn't care. But a week later, I saw her again. She had cuts up her arm, and they hadn't been there before. And they might never have been there if I had just taken the time to talk to her, to connect with her, to get to know her. So I'll say it again. Human connection is what changes people's lives, and we have the ability to create that change. So do it. That day was a hard one, but it taught me an important lesson. To always take the time to connect with someone, because the smallest actions have the biggest consequences. So let me finish by asking you all to do me a favour. Before you leave here today, smile at the person sitting next to you, or start a conversation with someone you've never met before. Because during the time I've spoken, 5 people would have killed themselves, and I hope one day our smiles and our connections can change that.
How was that? You wanted to be part of this? How was it? Oh.
Good.
Yeah?
My legs have stopped shaking now, so...
Yeah, so they've gone from blue to now the full orange pride thing. What was it particularly, of all the things that you could talk about, what was it that made you really want to focus in on this, the little things?
Because it's real. Like, it happens every day, and people don't even know about it.
Yeah. Have you ever been aware of anybody giving you a sort of a random act of kindness? Have you been on the receiving end?
I think I've never really thought about it until I did start writing my speech, and then you kind of notice things a little bit more. Like in maths, my pencil fell, and the girl in front of me picked it up for me and smiled at me, and it was like a tiny little thing, but it meant a lot. So
the tiny little thing, and you mentioned the smile quite a bit. This idea of just to smile at somebody who wasn't normally expecting it, or smile at a stranger without getting arrested for looking a bit weird on the bus and all that. I remember I lived in Hong Kong once, and I was it rains a lot in Hong Kong, and I was standing there waiting to go up the street, and this girl came up to me and sort of offered me, would you like to borrow my umbrella just to sort of come walk with me up the street? And it changes everything. It's just a little thing, but it changes everything. And the smile can change all sorts of things, just a little thing. How would you encourage people who aren't doing it, like amongst your friends, to grasp this idea that these little things count? What would you do?
I think do it to them, do kind things for them, because when you do something, they're more likely to do it back.
Okay, so you start.
Yeah.
It starts with you. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, so it's that. So we all start by being a bit kinder, and then it spreads. So we've got ideas worth spreading, and now we've got kindness worth spreading as well. Brilliant. Klaudia, thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you.